Good morning to everyone. My topic is raised intraocular pressure in thyroid-associated ophthalmopathy, non-responsiveness, and paradoxical association with glaucoma progression. No conflicts of interest and no financial interest. The causes for raised IOP in thyroid-associated ophthalmopathy include accumulation of glycosaminoglycans in trabecular measure, increase in episcleral venous pressure and orbital pressure, responsiveness to steroid administered for treatment of TAO, and gaze-related restrictive myopathy. The various management options include glaucoma medication, selective laser trabeculoplasty, glaucoma filtration surgery, and treatment of TAO with steroids or orbital decompression. We aim to assess the responsiveness of glaucoma therapy and the association of IOP with glaucoma progression. We included the patients with TAO defined by the following criteria who are having IOP more than 21 millimeter of mercury. We excluded patients with other forms of glaucoma. We defined responders as eyes in which IOP normalized after glaucoma medication or laser trabeculoplasty, and the eyes in which IOP was not controlled with maximum tolerable glaucoma medication and required surgery for IOP control were termed as non-responders. We analyzed the progression of the patient who had minimum of 2 years follow based on cup disc ratio and visual field. Results: we had 42 eyes of 21 patients with mean age of 43.8 years at similar sex ratio and mean baseline IOP of 28 millimeter of mercury, and 30 eyes had ocular hypertension, 12 eyes had glaucoma. Among this, 15 of 42 eyes, that is 1/3 of the patient, were responders, and 23 of 42 eyes were non-responders. 4 eyes with less than IOP less than 25 mm of mercury with only ocular hypertension were just observed without glaucoma medications. Among the non-responders, 3 eyes had underwent glaucoma filtration surgery. 2 eyes further required orbital decompression because of the poor eye control. And out of the 8 eyes which underwent orbital decompression, 6 eyes had a normalized intraocular pressure. By comparing the progressive responders versus non-responders, non-responders had a male predominance and had a higher number of patients in uncontrolled thyroid state and had a higher baseline intraocular pressure and higher number of patients with proptosis. We assessed the correlated IOP control and glaucoma progression. 14 eyes of 7 patients which had less than 2 years follow-up were excluded from the progression analysis. 7 of 28 eyes, that is 25% of the eyes, showed glaucoma progression. Among them, 70% of the eyes had paradoxical association of IOP with glaucoma progression. That is, 50% did not show progression of the IOP, progression with high IOP over a median period of 36 months, and 6 eyes showed glaucoma progression despite adequate IOP control. We need to know about the intraorbital pressure, which is can be measured by venous outflow pressure. The difference between venous outflow pressure and intraocular pressure should be less than 5 millimeter of mercury to maintain the optic disc perfusion. If the difference is more, then the optic disc perfusion is compromised. It can lead to development of scotomas. Since the primary pathology in TAO is raised intraocular pressure, intraorbital pressure, raised IOP is often refractory to management. The risk factors for poor response to glaucoma therapy in TAO patients include male gender, higher baseline IOP, uncontrolled thyroid state, and presence of proptosis. If indicated, addressing the episcleral venous pressure by orbital decompression should be considered before going for any glaucoma surgery. Once we get a TAO patient raised IOP, we must start with safely tolerable glaucoma medication. If there is no baseline visual field defect, we have to just follow for changes. When there is progression or when there is a baseline visual field defect, we might go for treatment of TAO or orbital decompression, and later on, if needed, we will do glaucoma surgery. Conclusions: glaucoma/ocular hypertension in TO does not behave like other primary open-angle glaucoma. Despite high incidence of therapeutic non-responders in patients with raised IOP, optic disc progression is rare. Maintaining the optic disc perfusion is more important than reducing IOP for preventing glaucoma progression. Stringent IOP reduction should be considered only in patients where progression is documented with high IOP. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Karthikeyan. Dr. Judges, questions, please. Anyone wish to ask any question? Dr. Alka, Dr. Jasleen, Pariyar sir.
Okay, Dr. Karthikeyan, do you think that drugs which actually affect the episcleral venous pressure would be more helpful in thyroid-induced glaucoma?
Drugs affecting,
like the ROCK inhibitors, for example?
That also goes through the trabecular measurement, ma'am.
Okay.
But we have not tried ROCK inhibitors because it has been recently available in India. So we have not tried in this. But that also, it acts from the trabecular measure. Episcleral venous pressure is addressed because of the glycosaminoglycans and all other inflammatory things. I don't think it will have any effect. I'm not sure, ma'am. We have to try.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
What is your experience of, measuring the intraocular pressure in these patients with thyroid? Because even the technique of measuring can make a difference.
Yes, ma'am. They have a gaze-related intraocular pressure. So if the patient have restriction of in any case, you have to keep the eye in that position and take, ma'am.
In the primary position?
In primary position, if there is no, not in a primary position, in the position where the eye
position of rest. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Malingam.